Hello, my name is Charles Taylor, and for my project today, I wanted to go over the heroes of diversity. Now, I'm doing this because as much as Marvel and DC have left a lasting legacy on superheroes and how they represent a big, big thing and a big deal in pop culture, I wanted to delve deeper into that psyche and that genre because I think it's very, very important that we talk about heroes of diversity. And credibility comes from the fact that I'm a black man. I love superheroes. As a matter of fact, my favorite superhero of all time is Zack Taylor, aka the Black Power Ranger. Yes, I am still a fan of Power Rangers. I don't have my wallet with me. I'd show you. I have the Mastodon wallet, and the only reason this is the White Tiger Zord shirt. The only reason that I'm not wearing a Black Ranger shirt is because it's getting washed. That's the only reason why. But I chose this topic because I was interested in finding out and delving deeper into the lives and the diversity of, superheroes of color, women superheroes, deaf, blind, mute superheroes. It takes you down a large rabbit hole, but it's amazing because what you get to find out is beautiful. But for the sake of this speech, I'm going to keep it basic. I'm going to keep it simple, and I'm just going to talk about a couple of things now. Diversity in the broader scale of superhero storytelling not only enhances it, but it shows you different parts of what these heroes bring to the table. One thing I've learned in doing my research is that what I love and what I've respected is how their diversity is a part of the story. It's a part of the journey. It's a part of learning who they are. And well, without further ado, let's get started. Sorry. Okay. Multi-ethnic representation matters. These stories are an accurate representation of what's going on in life right now. Being able to tell these stories from a real point of view and not just throwing a good guy versus bad guy clause into the story, to me, is more important because it represents life as it's happening right now. It's always important for not only us as minorities, but children as well, to see themselves being portrayed in a positive light. And them seeing that is very, very inspiring. But not only them seeing that, it also enhances and shows children that we can all play together, we can all get along together, we can all do this as a team together. So I believe that's very, very important. And it also rejuvenates life into bland characters. I can't tell you how many characters I've seen who not necessarily have the same story, but those stories told from a different perspective enhance them. Like my favorite right now is Sam Wilson as Captain America. Falcon got the mantle passed down to him, and his ongoing stories of how not only America perceives him as Captain America, but how he does his best to live up to the mantle as a black man is who is now Captain America. That's a beautiful juxtaposition, and I think it's one of the greatest stories being told. Another one is Miles Morales as Spider-Man. I know a lot of people saw Into the Spider-Verse. Well, how they tied that story into Spider-Man Peter Parker, it's when you do it right and you don't take away from who they are, and Miles being a biracial Latin and black teenager, you tell that story from a real point of view. And I believe that that is very, very important because it keeps the story going and it gives you different stuff to not only feel and experience, but it's just a great way of telling a story. And speaking of that, you're being able to offer a fresh perspective on the norms of average superhero storytelling. I gave you two examples of people replacing other characters, but at the same time, those characters are still with them. Like Steve Rogers still exists in the Marvel Universe. Peter Parker, even though he's died and come back to life, I know comics are weird, but Steve Rogers still exists. Peter Parker still exists, but they have been added with them and they add to the journey that they're going on. The person you see in this background right here is Anissa Pierce, aka Thunder. She is played by Nafisa Williams. Thunder on Black Lightning, the TV show, is the first ever African American woman to play a lesbian superhero on in history. That's a first. It's not only that she's a black woman, but she's a black woman who happens to be a lesbian, and it ties into her journey as a superhero. Not just her activism, not just what she does, but it's a part of who she is. And when you tell stories like this, it's a fresh perspective because uh, she's also an activist and stuff. And so you tie all these social economic norms, you tie these stories from a sexual orientation, you put them together, and you're able to tell a different story that you don't really get anywhere else. That's what I appreciate the most. But not just that, you get characters who have physical limitations. Daredevil is blind. Misty Knight has a missing arm. You know, Silhouette Cord can't walk because her spine was injured. You do specific stories like that. You tell about the journey of not them overcoming their physical limitations, but their physical limitations adding to who they are as people. And not only that, as superheroes, I believe you could do something great with that. And if you give it a shot, you'll see that not only do these characters not only exist and are a good part of it, but their stories are pretty great. You know, and when you're increasing cultural diversity, you not only offer opportunities for broader, richer storytelling, but you get inspiration from artists all over the world, being able to tell stories from different cultural perspectives. Yeah, you're a Latin superhero, you're Puerto Rican, you're Mexican, you're Colombian, you're Argentinian. Well, those are four different ethnic pieces. Those are four different cultures. You're telling a story from your specific point of view. And not only can you do that for a lot of people to relate, you can make that character popular. You can take that character into different genres. And if you're lucky, you'll be able to get picked up by a mainstream. And you can get a following. I've seen it happen time and time again. One of those examples was Batman. He used to be DC's version of Black Panther, but then they switched it to somebody else, and that's a story for another time. However, these heroes of diversity can inspire artists to create more heroes and more villains from other backgrounds. You establish these characters, you establish them to get more opportunities. You tell real stories that real people can relate to, and you can take off like it's nobody's business. It's a beautiful thing. So in conclusion, there's a lot of work to be done, but I wholeheartedly believe that as we keep going, as we keep moving, as we keep telling these stories, not only are they popular in comics, but you're gonna see big box office superheroes who are diverse, who have rich stories to tell, who are you know, can relate to people of sexual orientations. You're going to be able to tell stories that's universal for everybody. We're learning how to accept all of this as gospel, but most importantly, we're learning how to accept, embrace, and let these people tell these stories in ways that we can all not only be proud of, but we can all enjoy for countless years to come. Charles Taylor and Hutton. Let's get on the bandwagon, y'all. Have fun.